Welcome to episode 3 of Lukie's Pookies, and we will be talking about Luke's Gospels today. And Joey will be telling us about the parable of the lost son.
Recap on the last episode. So I was talking about Jesus asking the apostles who think he is, and Braden Braden was talking about Jesus talking about the lamp.
And then,
Yeah.
topics today, we're just going to basically doing parables again. And then, so our first parable we're going to talk about is the prodigal son. Most people have already heard of this one, but how it goes is basically, this guy, he has like these two sons. This one older son is like super responsible. He helps him with the work around the farm. He's just a good kid. The other one's kind of spoiled, and he doesn't help much. One day he just goes up to his dad and he's like, just give me my inheritance already, because you're going to die. Just give it to me. The dad gives it to him, even though, like, back then, that'd be a huge insult to, like, the dad and everyone. And he just gives him the money, and he just goes away, just parties and is irresponsible with his money. And then he ends up going broke and has to work for, like, these pigs, which back then was crazy, because pigs were, like, these unclean, just dirty animals. And the fact that he even thought about eating their food was, like, crazy. Like, that's how, like, you were, like, really poor, like, desperate. And then he was like, my dad's, like, servants get better conditions than this. So he just, like, goes back to his dad. And his dad is, like, doesn't care, and he just accepts his son and, like, treats him as normal, gets this huge feast. And, like, the older son's like, why? Like, I've been the perfect son, and you still, like, are happy for him? And the dad responds with, well, like, you are already good. He was lost and now he's found. And it's kind of like an allegory for, like, how in heaven, they already know good people are going to go to heaven. They just get super excited when a sinner finally, like, converts and, like, is ready to go back to heaven and, like, comes back to God.
And then one thing on that, like, it also reminds me of when we were talking about Jesus saying that a sick person needs a doctor more than a healthy person.
Yeah, like, Jesus, in most of his mission, is saying, you people who are good, you're already going to be good. But I need to focus on the people that are, like, looked down at in society, the poor people, the beggars, the lepers. Like, they are outcasted, and they need to come back to me more than you. And that's most of his mission, is just accepting those outcasts.
All right, so the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. It's about a tax collector when confessing compares himself to others and praises himself, and the tax collector who is humble and asks to be saved before God shows that you'll be truly forgiven if you're humble. This pretty much says, like, if you're pretending like you're someone you're not going to be respected as much, you know. God won't, you'll be truly forgiven if you show, like, yourself to others, you know. And you can show your, like, real self.
So kind of like be yourself at all times.
And it kind of goes back to, like, that lamp thing we were talking about earlier, how, like, the Pharisee considered himself to be holy, and he tried to make other people see that. And even in prayer with God, as, like, a religious guy, he's still, like, kind of bragging and wants praise. He's comparing himself to the tax collector to almost make himself seem better. But the tax collector goes in, he doesn't try any of that fancy stuff, and he's just like, I'm a sinner. Please forgive me. And it's just so much more, like, authentic, and
He's just being himself.
yeah, he's, like, showing that, like, I don't need to be fancy and stuff. Like, just forgive me.
Yeah, and that story goes with, like, that fits on the category kingdom responses, like, ways to move towards entry. Because he's, like, asking God for, like, he's basically repenting. And then it says, like, at the end of that story that he goes home, like, feeling way better. Like, it feels like a weight was lifted off his shoulders.
And this kind of goes back to, like, how Jesus parables, he'd try to have a story have a twist. And you would think that, like, this Pharisee who's like super holy would be the one that's more authentic, but because back then like tax collectors were like second-class citizens, they were looked down upon because they were helping their enemy and they stole money and they're just looked at as bad people. But he's truly trying to be holy, which like diverts your expectations for. You expect a Pharisee to go in and be the truly religious one when the tax collector is. And it shows again how Pharisees are just like hypocritical and only care about the praise of other Jews and don't care about legitimately praying and like fasting.
All right, we should get into our special segment of everybody naming their favorite prophet and why. You want to go first, Joey?
Yeah, I got it. I'd say Elijah. I really like Elijah. I think he came at a really good time. I think he's really important, and he kind of sets forward a lot of the other stuff that the prophets did. I think he's the best one. I think that's also kind of why he's my favorite one, is because he's, I think, the most genuine prophet and the most important prophet.
My favorite prophet is Moses because like he just freed his people from slavery basically, and he didn't really even know because he was born into like.
Ishmael.
Yeah,
I don't know if Moses is considered a prophet.
He's not.
I don't think he is.
I think he is. No?
Yeah,
No,
he
he's a
is.
patriarch. Remember when we did that draft project? He wasn't a prophet. That's like Elijah, Elisha,
Wait.
Ezekiel,
Yeah, he is because like he was called from God.
Moses. I don't think Moses is a prophet, Ishmael.
Is he really not?
I think he is.
I don't believe he is. I don't think he is.
No, he is.
I didn't think he was. He might
is.
be.
Okay, yeah, he is. He is.
Okay.
Yeah, because basically like.
I don't know.
Yeah, he is a prophet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like yeah, because he like received like basically like the laws of the world, and he freed his people from slavery, even though like originally not like knowing because he was like when he was put down the river, like he was taken in by the king of Egypt, and so he didn't like really know until later when he was exiled.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd consider Moses more of a patriarch. Because, like, I think most people believe prophets are like people that like actually have like prophecies and stuff, you know?
Sure, I guess you could say that, but like I don't know if that's up to you to like decide.
I guess.
Yeah, Lukie. All right, you wanna go next?
Not gonna lie, I was actually gonna say Moses, too, cause it's an interesting guy. You know, he's very.
I mean, like, yeah, he was like down a river, and he became like super successful just because of who found him. Like he went from almost dying to be like the son of the pharaoh, basically, the grandson.
He climbed out the trenches for real.
It kind of like parallels Joseph, kind of like how he was like sold into slavery, and then like he kind of went really to the top.
Yeah, it
He
was
made
also
it
like
out.
cool, like his miracles were super cool, like parting the Red Sea. Like I just think that's kind of like I don't know, it's just super like cool.
Yeah, and it's like kind of what Jesus is paralleling too.
Yeah, it like foreshadows Jesus.
Yeah, there's
Like
a lot.
Moses foreshadows Jesus.
It's crazy how like how much foreshadowing is in the old, like all like the references and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think my favorite is probably like Elijah. I don't know. I think his story's pretty impacting, and like I think he's all around a holy dude. You know.
So who do you think's better, Elijah or Moses? Kind of like seems like a split.
I mean, I don't think like we should be
Like no 1v1
know.
1v1. Who you got?
Moses.
But like I don't think that's like supposed to. I don't know.
I
think we're
mean,
supposed to say that.
we're having a discussion.
Yeah,
Let's just go. Let's just go.
Yeah, I think Moses 100%.
I think Elijah got
Because
it.
like God was like, I think God was more with like Moses.
God was more on
'Cause
Moses'
nah,
side.
No, Elijah got ascended into heaven.
I
He
understand.
ascended into
I
heaven.
understand, but God.
Moses did not. Moses died.
Damn. Okay, yeah, but like,
Didn't
but
they all
God
die?
picked Moses to save like all of his people, like the chosen.
Same
like,
thing with
the chosen
Elijah. Same thing with Elijah.
Yeah, but Elijah was like Moses' like backup, basically, right? Like he was like his
no,
second.
he was
Yeah.
just after
He was his
Moses.
second in charge. Yeah.
No, he was
He
not.
was like he was with him and he carried on.
That's like saying Jesus
Right?
is like third in command. Just because the dude came after doesn't mean he's more
That's
important.
not what I'm saying because that's different because Jesus was the son of God.
Yeah, but like,
And I think that like if you're saying 1v1, I think like Moses' miracles are way more.
yeah, but
that's
that's not
impactful.
Moses
Yeah,
himself.
impactful,
That's just
like,
God. That's just God.
I understand, but like he he worked through him just like how he worked.
All I'm
through
gonna say
Elijah, you know
is
what I'm saying?
that Elijah ascended into heaven in a fiery chariot.
Yeah.
God didn't even wait for him to die. He just took him up. I think I got Elijah.
I got Moses. Yeah. So,
What else we got? I'd say Elijah's the Michael Jordan. No. Moses is
LeBron.
Michael Jordan. Moses is
No,
Michael Jordan
bro.
because he was first, and then Elijah is LeBron James. That's my thing.
yeah.
And then like
Maybe.
Alicia is like Bronny James, cause like he
Wait.
came right after
Yeah, I
him.
didn't say- okay, wait.
So,
What do you
like-
think about what was the prophet that got like swallowed by a whale?
Jonah.
That was Jonah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had a pretty good story too. Like how he.
No, he was
basically-
not. He was
Yeah,
just
it was
running
a
away
good
from
story.
God.
It was a good story. Like.
Yeah,
they
he's not.
ran
Like, he's
and
not.
then-
But he's not a good. Like he was kind of like. He wanted people to. He was like, God, kill them.
Yeah, he like didn't. Yeah, that's true. He didn't really like listen to what God was saying, but then he ended up doing it either way.
Yeah, because
But
God
he
like
definitely,
forced
like,
him. He's like, I'm
he
gonna.
was like definitely the most not naive, the most like arrogant prophet.
Yeah, I'd say he was probably the worst prophet.
Wasn't Jonah the one that
And I don't know if it was.
walked
I feel
on
like it
water
was
with
H.
Jesus or something?
What?
What?
Right?
No, Jonah was the dude that got
No.
swallowed by the whale.
Yeah, someone walked on water with
Let me
Jesus
see.
with like in a boat or something.
What are you talking
I don't
about?
know. Right?
I'm not 100%.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me neither.
Okay, so
Yeah, no, Jonah was definitely the one that got swallowed by a big.
yeah, I think I just
Kind
think.
of looks like you.
All right, we gotta. So, I think this was a good discussion today about prophets, about parables, and I think basically we're done. I think this is our last podcast
Yeah.
as a group, and then we're gonna get that big live podcast.
Yeah, so I
And
appreciate
then
y'all.
next time we're gonna be talking about like actual parables.
Yeah.
Another.
Yeah, so appreciate y'all for listening.
Yeah.
See you guys in the next episode, episode 4. The teaser for next episode, more parables.
Yeah.
Parables.
That was a podcast, bro.